What's up? It's your girl, Free the Truth. You already know what time it is. It's Convo sessions. It's another week, y'all. We're going to continue with the journey with Auntie Phree says, because I get people who ask me, how are you so peaceful? How are you so peaceful? Man, let me tell you something. I am a constant work all the time. I work on peace every day. See, there were many years of me not being such a peaceful person, which means that those are a lot of years to unpack and assess and internalize and figure out. But simply, I'm peaceful because I want peace. And I see that playing out in different ways, you know. I have this saying of, you don't know what I went through to be this nice. I know we all have a story that led us up to the person to who we are today. And for me, it took a lot of hurt and pain to be this nice. Growing up, experiencing certain things, going through certain things, it puts you in a position in life to have to process things differently. And it also comes with some selfishness. See, in order to even be peaceful, you have to be happy. And in order to be happy, you have to be selfish with yourself. Well, what does that mean? Well, not only does that incorporate the self-love lifestyle by putting yourself first, is also being able to set those boundaries when needed. See, now, I came across a woman who had a son and a daughter. And she was talking about how they fuss and fight, how they don't get along, and having talks with her son about how to deal with women, right? And everything that she was saying was respectable. You know, I understand as a mom and trying to get your kids to get along, so I have no disagreements in her approach. But what I did add was teaching her son that it's okay to have boundaries. Because I don't think black men in America gets to express boundaries enough, right? It seems like we kind of put black men in a position of being able to take on certain things and just absorb it without any expression of hurt or disappointment or weakness. Right? He has to deal with society. He has to deal with his job. He has to deal with dating and marriage and relationships, other men, financial institutions, on and on and on. And I'm not saying that he has it worse. I'm saying that he goes through so much without any type of self-expression. And I think it's so important to empower our young black men with boundaries. That he doesn't have to put up with a toxic woman in order to prove that he's a man. The same way that a woman does not have to put up with a toxic man to prove how good of a woman she is. You do not have to prove yourself to those who know you. Do you understand that? That you do not have to prove yourself to those who know you. So if you find yourself in position of trying to prove your love, prove yourself, prove your loyalty, it's a person who don't know you. And if this is supposed to be a person that does know you, then it's time to reassess some things. So I empower our children, especially our young black men, to have some boundaries. That you do not have to put up with derogatory slurs and names and emasculation and verbal and emotional and mental abuse from a woman just because you are a man. It's okay to say, you're not allowed to talk to me like that, and walk away. You do not have to sit through this toxicity to prove yourself of being a worthy being. It's quite the opposite. Is that my self-love, my self-respect, my self-esteem does not allow me to put up with such things. It doesn't even allow me to. So let me know, let me inform you and let you know that this type of behavior that you're exhibiting towards me is not acceptable, and I don't have to deal with it. And I think when we start arming our children with the necessary tools to assert themselves and feel comfortable and empowered when it's time for them to assert themselves, I think we're going to see better outcomes with this next generation, especially when it comes to dating. Because now no one's sitting around and allowing the disrespect to carry on. No one's giving, this weight of a ride or die to women putting up with disrespect in order to prove their self-worth. We have people seeking out more positive and happier connections and relations. So if you're having a more positive, healthier experience with someone, doesn't that bring forth a happier and more positive relationship, a happier and more positive family, a happier and more positive person overall? That's what we need to get to. And I think a lot of us, coming from the upbringing that we come from, not saying everybody, I'm saying that a lot of us, because a lot of us were subjected to the crack era and the fallout behind that, right? Families were broken. Children were abandoned. Homes were destroyed. Communities disbanded. Like a whole lot. But we also grew up with that old school mentality of what happens at home stays at home. Don't talk about my business. And I'm not to say that there's certain things that shouldn't be handled with discretion, but I'm saying that a lot of us suffocated underneath that mentality. And so we never got to speak up on the things that bothered us. We never spoke up on the things that hurt us. We never spoke up on the trauma that we went through. That left us emotionally, mentally oppressed. Which led to you being spiritually oppressed. which led to a lot of lack within self. I know many of us do not fall under some type of organized religion, and that's everybody's choice. You choose your path. Whatever speaks to you, that is your path. I'm not here to debate that. But I do know 9 times out of 10, every person that I come across, I have a conversation with, they have some type of religious, spiritual practice. Right? And so when you have a bunch of people feeling unseen and unheard and abandoned, it leads to a breakdown in that spiritual and religious practice. And that is just a part of who we are. We thrive better as people when we're practicing the things that we believe. Right? And so you got to get in the practice of loving you. And you got to get in the practice of respecting yourself. And you got to get in the practice of making life and happiness go together. It is not something that you must sacrifice. A quality life and being happy is not something that you should have to sacrifice in order to have a job, in order to maintain a relationship, in order to compromise anyone or anything. Because those are your birthrights. Right? Don't forget that. So how do I have this peace? Because I created the necessary boundaries that I needed in order to be happy. And if I encounter anything or anyone who collides with the frequency of my happiness, I remove it. Because I've worked too hard to get to this point to allow some outside source to come in and ruin, steal, take, disrupt my peace and happiness. It's a refusal. I will not cooperate. I am not compromising. It is not up for debate. Either you are in line with my happiness or you are in the way. I don't do drama. Good vibes. Respected. And I don't expect every day to be good vibes. I expect lessons to continue to come. I expect to be tested. And I expect to be put through things that elevate me. And it may not always be good in that moment, but I maintain an overall good vibe. Only life. My self-love lifestyle prevents me from falling into anything that is not in alignment with my happiness. Because I love me too much. And when we're on the same level, when we're on the same frequency, it's a cooperation, it's a collaboration, it's us partnering up and sharing our lives. It's not a hindrance. It's not I have to stop being me in order to appease you. It's no, we do this great by ourselves and we can do it even better together. So it's your girl, Free the Truth. You already know what it is. Convo sessions every week. Shout out to Team City Buzz and go visit freethetruth.com.